Oh, I'm just wondering how you want to do it. So should I press the button? Okay. So maybe need to stand behind the chair. Huh? Maybe get one of them out of the way. Or is someone got? Oh, is he up here? No. You should sit there. Yeah. Sit up here. We'll just get rid of one of these. That way you can stand and press the button and not all over stuff. Okay, guys, that's loud. Let's get started. I was working with a microphone yesterday, and I had to put my mouth directly on it for anyone to hear me. So I'm happy to hear that this one is not like that. So thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. It sounds like some of you are here to learn about how you can scale your startup when you get all the business coming in, and others to learn about freelancing, and others for the free food. Uh, so we're here to talk about the future of work. So um, my name's Ryan Johnson. I'm the categories director at Upwork. Upwork, as you'll see on the slide, but I'll give you the sneak preview now, um, used to be Elance Odesk. So a little over a year ago, the two largest online workplaces merged to create Elance Odesk. And we spent the better part of a year rebuilding the product of the future, um, which launched on the 5th of May and is called Upwork. So if any of you were familiar with Odesk before and you've visited Odesk since, turns to Upwork. So Upwork was largely built on some of the technology that we had in place at Odesk. Um, and we added a new layer of technology on the top that we're going to continue to innovate from. When we launched Upwork on the 5th of May, we also launched iPhone app, Android app, and an all new messaging layer and matching layer on our product that one, messages you can have now in real time. So just like any chat software you've ever used, now there's one that pays you, which is cool. And when posting a job or looking for work, we can now match people in minutes and, as opposed to in hours. So let's dive in. So I told you I'd let the cat out of the bag already. So this is what Upwork looks like. I think the most popular question asked um, of me since I've been here, aside from how long have you been in the Philippines, is why did you rebrand? Why did you go to Upwork? You had Odesk, you had Elance. We knew what those are. I like them. I like the blue better than the green. Um, all that kind of stuff. Well, online work, we believe strongly, is the future of work. I know that sounds cliche. How many of you have watched Silicon Valley on HBO? It's totally true, by the way. Um, we're all trying to change the world. Uh, Honestly, though, we know that online work is the future of work. And the reason why we know that is Upwork is in Silicon Valley, and it's a crazy place. There's a lot of fast growing companies. Google's there, Facebook's there, LinkedIn's there, everybody. So recruiting talent is super, super hard. If you want to hire the best engineer and you're trying to hire locally in the Valley, good luck. They're going to go to Facebook, they're going to go to Google. Um, that's just the way that it is. Our competitive advantage is that 2/3 of our workforce, folks contributing to Upwork every day, are freelancers. The vast majority of folks working on our platform are freelancers. And that's what helps us innovate, helps us grow. 2/3 of our engineering team, freelancers on Upwork. 2/3 of our customer service team, freelancers on Upwork. And smart companies, smart startups in the Valley know this and are either creating a freelance workforce or building their company from the ground up completely on Upwork. Wow, we're back to that again. So what's Upwork's vision? We want to connect businesses with the most talented people in the world. So opportunity, we believe strongly, shouldn't be limited to you based on the winning the lottery when you're born. It really should just be um, talent being matched with opportunity, period. Most of the money transacted on our platform crosses borders. And to give you a sense of um, the size of our business now, last year, more than or just under $1 billion was paid to freelancers on our platform last year. Um, and we hope that continues to grow. So the reason why $1 billion was transacted on our platform is because work is shifting online. I think about a decade ago, when online work started, most people thought about getting a website done, and they thought, I'm going to get a website done for cheap, right? And that was kind of the beginning. But when was the last time you visited a crappy website? Very few. Or downloaded a crappy app? Very few. Now quality matters, um, and there are really there's a large number of talented people in the world that don't want to do the 2-hour commute anymore, or want to move back home closer to their family, or have a family and actually want to see them. So the quality of the online worker is going through the roof. So gone are the days of going in and being paid $1 an hour to do a ton of work, devaluing yourself against everybody else. Now clients aren't looking for the cheapest person. They're looking for the best person. They want the person with an awesome portfolio with great apps in it, or an awesome writing portfolio that demonstrates their mastery of the language that they are looking to hire a content writer or an editor in. So the time is now for folks to have a career online. And um, many times the folks that I talk to regularly, I'm pulling a list of whoever earns the most, because I want to learn what makes them freelance. Why are they freelancing with Upwork? How can we be better? Um, and unanimously, when I talk to these freelancers, they tell me not only they enjoyed the 5 years or 6 years or 7 years or 2 years, in some cases 6 months, they've been a freelancer. When I ask them what they want to do for the next 10 years, they say freelance. They don't want to change. They're very happy with the career trajectory that they have online. And my favorite quote that I hear from freelancers regularly is, I worked for 3 months, started getting tons of opportunities, gave myself a raise. I worked for 3 more months, gave myself another raise. It's something powerful to hear tell you that they're giving themselves a raise, especially when I'm done with that phone call and I'm like, I gotta jump on that bandwagon. How many of you would like to give yourself a raise? Anybody? Just a few of you? Awesome. Well, you guys can take me out to dinner if you don't need a raise. Um, so why is work moving online? A lot of different things. One is just the quality of the talent. But compared to traditional hiring, how many of you guys have ever hired an employee or been through the hiring process? It's fun, right? Writing resumes, throwing away, people don't care. At the end of the day, it matters if you know somebody maybe, um, or you have a better haircut that week. Um, it's not like that online. So traditional hiring, competitive, you don't even know who you're competing against or why, or if it even matters, but you're trying. It's time consuming, it takes weeks or months or longer. You kind of don't talk to your friends or family while it's happening. It's expensive. It's expensive to you for your time that goes unpaid. But it's extremely expensive for employers because they're paying headhunters and they're doing all these different things. Meanwhile, their business is stifled because they just need to fill this seat. And kind of the worst part in some cases, it's inflexible. You're showing up, it's 9 to 5, which we all know that really means 9 to 7, no lunch, and the whole thing. Um, so it's not really working for employers or employees. So it's only natural that work will move online, right? Everything else has. You've got eBay. If you ever needed to sell something, it's like the original kind of yard sale, right? Place to get rid of what you don't need and to have a great bargain. Talked to a friend the other day when I got to Manila. She lives here. I was like, hey, need to get around town. Don't know where to go. How do I? What do I catch a ride? And she goes, take Uber. There's a I don't know how many cab companies, but I see tons of cabs everywhere. They've been here forever. Everyone, I would expect that everyone would have some affinity to a brand. Everyone tells me take Uber. It's more trustworthy. It's faster. It's this, it's that. It's cheaper. Um, Airbnb for lodging, Upwork for work. So this is the obligatory photo slide. You guys feeling inspired now? The road and the truck way down there. When was the last time you saw a road like this, by the way? Wouldn't that be the dream? Like you know you're about to die because this is never going to happen, right? Hell just froze over. But the takeaway is internet's becoming the road to work. So I know some of you, how many of you know someone who's working online right now? Anybody? Are they the life of the party? Look at this. Filipinos have earned almost, actually more than $300 million just on Upwork. Just on Upwork. Look how high and to the right that curve is. Right? Last year, $100 million. Okay? So real money, real careers. This is why people are excited online. They're having time with their family, and in many cases, they're making um, noticeably different amounts of money than what they were doing before. Why we're excited and why we're kind of driving home that work's moving online is last year it's estimated about $1 trillion was exchanged online for work. 1 trillion. It's estimated though that in the next 10 years, online work will be worth almost 3 trillion. So who's gonna take up all this opportunity, right? Because it's going to be a lot of opportunity, and a lot of the reason why is technology's helping, right? Um, Uber wouldn't have existed without mobile phones, right? Wouldn't have worked. Um, Airbnb wouldn't have existed without easier ways to exchange money and ways to kind of have a reputation, and other ways to kind of vet people online. Um, Upwork kind of handles all those things when it comes to work, has client reputations, freelancer reputations, so you can make an informed decision with who you want to work with, who wants to work with you. You can see a clear, transparent track record. And what's really awesome about it that no other stream of employment can do is it's a whole lot of technology built to market the heck out of you if you're really good. So just think about that. Wouldn't you love just starting a business having a multi-million-dollar marketing engine, making sure that if someone's looking for someone like you, that you're in front of them, your work's in front of them, that you're being showcased, you know, to the degree that a large company would market its products. That's what Upwork does. And the best part about it is your resume on Upwork works for you. Like the one that you're submitting today into the empty inbox and then calling back and all that stuff and trying to figure out, do I lay it out this way? What do I do with it? Your reputation and your profile on Upwork lives on, goes with you, works for you, gets you work. So one thing I was just going to highlight so Upwork right now we support almost 3,000 skills. So that's a lot of different types of work, over 100 categories of work, and that's just ways we could summarize them down to the most popular buckets. But there's anything you can think of is being done on there. I mean, even one of my favorite examples is a burger company. Their secret sauce, their differentiator is their grill. It makes their burgers taste great. They had a engineer design their grill on Upwork. That's pretty cool. But one thing that I chose to highlight here, because I'm here to launch a program for Upwork, is customer service. There isn't anywhere else in the world that leads in customer service like Philippines. fact, I still can't even believe it until I see it, the scale of some of the BPO operations here. You walk in and they're just massive, absolutely massive. But sometimes it can be challenging, right? Because the companies that will contract with the BPO provider are large companies. They have tons of customers that need to be serviced during a specific window of time, and oftentimes it means that you're working nights and um, you know, commuting, which we all know is fun. So customer service is a pretty young category. Upwork is a pretty young business, but it turns out it's one of the fastest growing categories on our platform right now. And I mentioned this in the very beginning about existing companies starting to kind of augment their workforce online. New companies, startups, are starting to build their entire company from the ground up on Upwork, the entire thing. And this is a lot of the reason why there's fast growing category in customer service. You guys, and I didn't catch your name. Sorry, Jing and Tabitha. How much of your day is spent like triaging emails and phone calls as you're starting your business? Like each new client becomes this massive commitment as your business grows. Who's going to do that for you? Because if you're doing that, something else valuable for your business isn't getting done, right? So that's why a lot of startups are turning to build their customer service team in the cloud, and a lot of the reason why they're able to do that is products like Zendesk. Or any of you familiar with Zendesk? Anyone familiar with SaaS? The term SaaS or the acronym SaaS? It's software as a service. So basically, Salesforce. If anyone's heard of Salesforce, it's just these magical softwares that you can buy in the cloud that help you enable your business. And Zendesk is a customer service platform in the cloud. So it allows companies to kind of not have the commitments and the infrastructure they used to need to have a customer service operation. A lot of the reason why they would outsource to a BPO so they don't have to have a big, massive um, piece of property and tons of people to put in there and a bunch of technology to clock in and clock out and cameras and the whole nine. Zendesk allows companies to have multi-channel customer support all in the cloud. As a result, companies who are now using this cloud service, running their entire operation in the cloud, start to think, well, why shouldn't I also hire in the cloud? There's examples like this across any category of work that you can think of, and will continue to grow in the future. I just think about I don't know when these things are going to come about, but Adobe just launched a product the other day that is a new product around stock photos, right? You're using this software, you're designing stuff, and you can get stock photos directly from the software. It's inevitable, though, in the future that there'll also be people in there creating photographers providing the next set of photos and getting licensing for those photos to go through Adobe, designers to be there to like custom create a photo for a customer that needs it now. Talent's going to live within software, and we're starting to see that already in Zendesk. So customer service, one of the fastest growing categories, as you can see, since 2009, is now almost a $30 million business on Upwork. And it's growing 60+% quarter over quarter. Last year, it grew 54% year over year. And if you average up that growth rate that whole time, it's about 100% average each year. So anyone working in customer service should be pretty excited about this because zero commute, work from home, pays better, lots of cool stuff. And if you can just, again, imagine we have 100 categories of business, they're all looking very similar. So Philippines contribution. So unfortunately, your internet's a little bit slower than some places. It's sometimes kind of tough. You've got one or two pipes of internet coming in through the ocean that you might not have the best bandwidth. So despite that, though, your country's having a huge contribution to online work. You already saw the $300+ million earned online. For those of you that are coming late, I'll show the chart, but it's pretty significant. In customer service, not surprisingly, you guys are hardworking, have a customer service infrastructure here, speak English really well, great communication skills. You won more than half of the customer service jobs on Upwork. So that's a lot of the reason why I'm here to launch a program, because of the success that you're having online. And that's more than half of almost 20,000 jobs. And those jobs, mind you, on average, are lasting longer than a year. So folks that are winning contracts are getting contracts that last more than a year, um, which is great. And then if you just look at the average, I mean, hourly rates in customer service vary widely. They'll range somewhere between $5.50 an hour all the way up to more than $20 an hour, depending on experience and in your particular role of your supervisor or something like that. But the average is still 10,000 pesos a year better than the average customer support position at a large BPO. So again, other cool things about online is sometimes they're smaller companies, and often they may be hiring a customer service team that they just want to handle during their off hours. So they may not even be looking for someone to come in and do the night shift. Really just looking to make sure that they keep up with customer inquiries because they have global customers during their off hours, which are your on hours. So those are a few stats just specific to customer service. Here's a couple other cool ones, like who's doing the hiring. So if anyone has ever wanted to work with some of the cool companies that I don't know, websites you're surfing on the internet, or things you're hearing about in TechCrunch and other things, 60% of companies hiring are in the US. So you're going to get experience with US companies. This 10% is here in the Philippines. A lot of those are really, really, really savvy Filipinos who have decided that they have some real career trajectory on Upwork. And one of the best ways to do that is to start an agency on Upwork. So you come on Upwork, you're being very successful freelancing, whether it's marketing, social media, customer service, you name it. You start to get so much work because you're successful that you can't handle it anymore. You can forego that work, or you can build a business on Upwork. These guys are, some percentage of those are agencies that are hiring Filipinos and scaling their business on Upwork. And then as you can see, for those being hired in customer service, 70% Filipino, 20% US. So just to give you an idea, I mentioned earlier on Upwork how it's like this monster marketing engine for you. Once you've gone in and proven to us that you have these skills and these capabilities and you make customers happy, we go to work for you. And it's our goal to make sure that you have as much work as you can handle. And if you're savvy enough to build an agency, then you can keep on handling more, right? But when we see particular areas of growth, we really double down. So in addition to all of our algorithms and all the online marketing and things that we do, we also put together programs. So the Pro Customer Service program is specifically that. So what is it? One of the biggest challenges with online work is kind of your mental state when you start it. Most come in thinking, okay, it's different. I've never worked online before, so I must need to do something totally different than I've done to this point to earn jobs, right? And they start creating resumes that aren't that specific, and they don't apply to jobs in the same way that you might apply to a job, which you really shouldn't do. You should really approach it like like you would any other job. Create a really specific resume. So if you're looking for a job at a digital ad agency and you have some specific marketing skills, write that profile. So what this group does is it's designed to help folks who are interested in getting in customer service on Upwork, whether they're existing Upwork freelancer having success or someone that's never been on Upwork, to be able to have a chance to come in, prove that they've got the skills and capabilities and experience that we think a pro customer service freelancer needs. And then once you're in it, you essentially have a fast track to success. So once you're in the group, you get a credential on your profile that basically says, I've been through this vetting process. It's really clear that there's a limited number of people in the group, that it's a private group. The average hourly rate of people in the group right now is about $13 an hour. So there's a clear difference in earning capabilities and clients' expectations of what they're going to pay to hire talent in this group. You get a curated list of high-paying jobs. So we go in and basically flag all the jobs posted by the very best clients and hand you that list of jobs. And then finally, most people don't know this, but we have Fortune 500 and even Fortune 50 companies on Upwork. and they're hiring anywhere from, I don't know, 10 freelancers across disciplines to more than 1,000. And they have different needs than the general marketplace user. So we have an enterprise service for them that allows them to manage many freelancers, pay them with a single click, and also have a complete compliant onboarding process that everyone goes through all the checks and balances. Similar if you were going to be a consultant for any company, once you've gone through all the hoops to be the consultant, you're kind of in their short list of people they can hire. It's exactly like that, but a completely private kind of walled garden marketplace that no one sees, only these enterprise customers. Our enterprise clients have teams of recruiters that go in and source for them. They source from the pool. So it's a real opportunity for anyone that has this experience to come into Upwork, go through this process, get started really quickly on our platform, which is what we want. Because as we saw in the previous slides, we have massive customer demand. We want to make sure that we have the right talent supply for that demand. And we create programs like this, in addition to making sure that we're doing really cool stuff with our product to match people really quickly. So this, if you know anybody, since I'm here to promote this particular program that's in the BPO space or in customer service and maybe has a family, just needs a change, encourage them to check out this program. So that's the short link there. The page has a lot of more information on it about what the program's about, what's required, and all that stuff. You apply from this page. If you already have an Upwork account, then you just apply with the same email. If you don't have an Upwork account, just when you sign up for Upwork, use the same email. It makes it easier. And then this is the process. You basically create a great profile. We review it. You go through an interview stage where there's written, situational, and when you're done, you get put in the group. So these are just a few of our pros. I don't have to read down the slide, but the general story is commuting for 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, not seeing my family, not feeling like my career is going where I want it to do, need to make a change. All of these folks have made that change. All of them had career trajectories, started in a position that they were equivalent in and moved up. And all of them still want to freelance. So many of them now have been freelancing for 5 or more years. So that's the general gist. One other thing I forgot to mention when we launched Upwork, I mentioned we launched 2 apps, but we're really investing heavily, not just in data science, it's kind of a general term, but just in really fast matching. And in our new mobile apps that we released, there's now a feature in there that says, I'm available for work now. And we're starting to match people instantly. So you might be hanging on your phone, you get a quick message like, here's this really great paying job. We think you should apply because we already know everything about you and think you're a perfect match with this client. And you have an opportunity to apply and take that job then. We even have the ability for you to start conversing with the client instantly. So some really big improvements on the new platform. I'm just going to back it up to this slide and then just open to questions.
Hi, I'm Google from Space. No, my question is that in the Philippines, we usually get taxed 32% income.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, basically you get the gist of the question.
Yep. So it's, I think, all about taxes. Diba? So freelancing in the Philippines, we take it as an self-employed. You have to pay for your own taxes. Similar to if you have your own startup, if you're working like an entrepreneur, you have a shop. So what we're doing is we're educating the freelancers on how to do it. Because in the Philippines, the law can be confusing and nobody will really teach you how to do it. Even if you go to the RDO office of the BIR, nobody knows what freelancing is and what to do with it. So what we do is educate. We don't really force them to pay. It's up to them. That's it. Actually, they see this as an informal sector, similar to your tricycle drivers, sari-sari store owners, um, let's say mini entrepreneurs. So they don't really raid the market. They don't really raid anyone. They go for the big guys just because it's not yet established. So yeah, that's it.
But
Any
to that note, it's like a rock concert. Um, Definitely pay your taxes though, right? Because at the end of the day, even if the traffic isn't that great, you probably want to look good sitting in a nice car, right? Especially if you're making a lot more money online. You probably want to buy a nice house, maybe one near the beach. If you're not paying your taxes, you don't have any income to show. It's going to be harder to do that. So um, you know, think of online freelancing as running your own business. Would you cheat your customers out on an experience? Would you do anything to cut corners, knowing that um, you know it might cost you your business? Doesn't really make sense. It actually makes more sense to just treat it seriously, treat it like a business, be really disciplined, give yourself a raise. When you want another raise, give yourself another raise, and worry less about the little bit that's coming out and more about what's coming in. There's got to be more questions. Bring them up anywhere you want, whether it's anything or starting a business. Don't be shy. Everyone's shy. Yeah. Yeah. It, it really depends on the customers and the business that you want. Um, I think if you do want to take voice is typically the best paid. It just is because it's harder to find the right person because you're going to trust that person to talk directly to your customers. What's different about customer service online is companies are usually um, entrusting a lot in you and empowering you a lot. So oftentimes at a larger BPO, you might be kind of pigeonholed in one particular role, and then you got to transfer a customer around a bunch of times before they actually get what they want because you don't have access to this or the other. It's usually not like that online because there's leaner and meaner teams. Voice typically pays the best because you're talking directly with someone. It's going to be much more important for you to have mastery of the English language, be really, really able to be understood, really, really have really great comprehension skills and listening skills. So it pays more. But companies are, tech companies especially have adopted online work very rapidly, and they have a bunch of different ways that they communicate with their customers. Some might be communicating with you directly in your video game as you're like crushing it, um, or communicating with you directly through your app. So those types of things require more kind of written experience. In a lot of cases, there's almost kind of templated stuff that you can select to do that. So you can work in a less you don't it's less important that you have like a silent working environment in that type of case. It's just most important that you have um, really great headset to communicate, not to communicate with customers, but to communicate with your team because everyone you're going to be working with will be in a different location. So it's super, super important that you all understand one another and communicate well. Um, and then other than that, like a good internet connection, typically multiple forms of backup because we know the rain can pour pretty hard here. Pretty big storms can come through, and you want to have your own, or power might go out. You want to have multiple pieces of backup, so plugged in internet connection, so it's the fastest. Maybe like a mobile hub, and then your cell phone. If all else fails, if it's a really serious, we as a company alert clients who hire freelancers in particularly hit regions. We've done that in the past for the Philippines. We did that for Nepal. Um, so, we try to do our best to make sure that your clients are aware of any downtime they're going to potentially have. Questions? Yeah, I mentioned in the beginning. So, 2/3 Upwork. One of the main reasons we know um, online work is the future of work is 2/3 of those who contribute to Upwork on a daily basis are freelancers. 2/3 of our engineering team, 100 plus people, mobile, backend, Java, you name it, are freelancers. Our entire office is set up to communicate with a remote workforce. So every meeting room that you go into is Google Hangouts, cameras. We see each other face to face. We're always seeing each other face to face. So you know, we don't even really notice whether we're in the same office or not. To us, there's a trend in Silicon Valley right now to build these amazing office complexes. Have you guys seen the plans for the Google office or seen the new Facebook office that has like a 5-acre lawn on the roof, or the Apple office that a lot of people nickname the UFO, right? It's this infinite loop. Um, for us, the perfect office, the ideal office, is no office, right? We're doing the exact opposite. We're not like going around shopping for this great office. We're going to try to create a huge footprint. Our footprint is digital. On any given day, 250,000, 500,000 or more freelancers are working. We're this tiny little company. We know it's the future of work, um, and you know the growth that we're seeing is complements that. How many of you have either worked or are currently working in the customer service industry? Anybody? Nobody? What what industries are you working in? Graphic design? Have you worked on Upwork yet? Yes? Are you there now? Yeah. Yeah, anyone can hire anyone. So you can create an agency. Yeah. I mean, technically you have to create a client account to do it, but there's nothing preventing you. In addition to the 2/3 of our workforce contributing to our company every day, um, most employees at Upwork, probably all, have a small budget to hire, and almost all of us have a team of people that we work with. We call them our force multiplier or our secret weapon. So for this pro customer service program, and launch of this program, we built out an ebook teaching companies how they could create a customer service team online completely with freelancers, writer, web developer, designer. Um, all of the landing pages we created for the program, all created with freelancers. Those are all people I've hired directly on our platform. Even as part of our launch, I mentioned we have 100 categories of work. Um, when we created Upwork, we wanted to redo our categories, and that's actually a really hard thing because we have um, a lot of really sophisticated data science models, so we can match people really quickly. And those models are all trained to work on a certain set of categories. So if we're going to recreate our categories, which we did, we have to retrain all those models. So you basically need tons and tons and tons of jobs. You need to tell them that this job that used to be this is now this. And for that, I hired a large team of freelancers, and we recategorized 150,000 jobs to train our models in less than a month. You can't do that at a regular company. I know you guys have more questions. I can see it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we do provide a bunch of information online. The trouble is most people don't follow it because I kind of started mentioning this at the very beginning. Um, there's something about trying something new that suggests to people that they should approach it differently than they've approached anything before. How many times have you started something new and a few weeks later, a few months later, you look back and go, "Oh, why did I do that? If I would have just done this other, I've done this other way, which I knew I should have done anyway, it would have worked out better. So now I'll do it." It's exactly like that. The biggest challenge with new people getting started on our platform is that they're not approaching it like they typically would to find work. They're thinking they need to do something different, but you really don't. The best thing that you can do as a new person coming into Upwork is create a really awesome profile. Really sell yourself. Go in there and put all of the skills that you have. If you're a great designer, don't create a partially baked profile that doesn't look at least as good as the best people that you see on there, and not have a portfolio that you wouldn't want to hire that person from. If you don't have a built out portfolio, take the time and invest in just creating one. Right? If you're a designer, do you ever spend any time on Behance? Behance, the website? Most people do, right? And you just go there and you're just amazed with all the design work. You kind of meet other designers that way. You wouldn't create a profile on Behance with a bunch of bad portfolio items. So do the same thing. If you want to get started really fast on Upwork, go in there, take it really seriously, create an awesome profile, be convinced that that profile does a good job of showing how skilled you are at your particular area. The rest of it, we've designed to work from there. We have, like I said, really sophisticated data science stuff that really can pick out exactly who is the best to match with who. So we know what clients, almost like a dating site would know whether to connect you with someone else based on your interests. We know all that for work. So that's the very best thing that you can do is come in seriously, create a great profile, apply to work, really try to win jobs, and you will. We take that immensely seriously. So if there's an impression that we just let any job show up on our marketplace, that's the wrong impression. Um, what we're creating at Upwork, our vision for Upwork is to create a workplace for the world. One of the things that traditional workplaces have, whether you like going to work or not, is a sense of familiarity, a sense of collegiality, a sense of trust. Show up there, you feel safe. We know Upwork needs to be like that to be the future of work. So we have a very diligent trust and safety team. I don't know how many times this year you've noticed the bank reluctantly releasing a press release that someone's hacked into the bank. Let me tell you, they spend zillions of dollars on security. Somehow somebody gets. Um, doesn't mean they don't take it very seriously. So do sometimes people sneak in? Yes, but we have a lot of measures in place to make sure they don't, and we take very serious action once we find it. But every single job that goes on our marketplace is gone through a series of checks before it's put out there. Um, some folks are sophisticated and find ways around them. We quickly plug those holes. But one of the best things about Upwork is we maintain reputations for both clients and freelancers. So we try to do a really good job of not just matching people really quickly, but helping you self-select even beyond that match. Make sure that you choose the right employer, choose the right freelancer. Any other questions? Well, we encourage you to. We don't require it because we know not everyone feels comfortable doing it. But think about it. Um, you know, clients are literally thousands and thousands of clients are um, scanning through our site every day. They post a job and they're going through applications. They're very busy, just like you guys are. They're very, very busy. So anything that you can do and that we can do to help them better self-select who they want to hire, it's good to do. And if you know that, hey, I speak English really well, I communicate really well, um, it's probably worth putting a 30-second video together so a client can meet you. I mean, first of all, none of you, not many of you at least, would be too excited to go on a date without seeing a picture of the person first, right? But you probably want to see more than one picture. If you have a chance to maybe meet them socially first through friends, you're going to prefer that too. Um, when clients are hiring or when freelancers are looking for work, the most successful freelancers and clients and contracts um, aren't necessarily because we made the best match in the world. It goes beyond that. They build relationships, and clients know it really matters to have trust, right? When they're coming in to hire, they're risking some part of their business. They're spending, whether it's just money or it's interactions with their customers or it's their big idea, there's risk that they're trying to hedge. So anytime you can kind of start to create a relationship, create intent, even before you've met, it's a really powerful thing to be able to do. So it's worth doing a good video, but no, it's not required. Any latecomers with questions? You must have come here for some reason. For the latecomers, I'm guessing you probably work here? You have an office space here, maybe? Is that right? Do you work in a space? Do you have a space here? How'd I know? What are you working on?
I'm not working a space, but I was invited by Upwork.
Are you on Upwork right now? What are you on Upwork doing? What area of work?
A web developer.
Web developer? Awesome. Um, those are in high demand. We also have another program um, that's right now focused on mobile developers, but if it's successful, we'll probably do web developers too. And it's along a similar lines, just helping. The goal is really to identify the most capable people, whether they've had experience on our platform or not, and connect them with the best possible work right away. So thanks for coming. Do you have any questions specifically about Upwork or online work or growing a business? I'm sure everyone won't mind if I just do it all over again. What do you guys think? I'm just kidding. Go on. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't I tell you? Who was here in the beginning? That's the most frequently asked question since I got here, other than how long are you staying? Um, um, we believe online work is the future of work. And the reason why we believe that is we see it in our company every day. 2/3 of our company, um, those contributing to Upwork every day are freelancers. Um, we couldn't compete and grow our business in Silicon Valley if we didn't um, do online work. So it's great to eat your own dog food as a business, but because it's the future of work, I also kind of early talked about the life cycle of online work. Period. It originally was I'm going to outsource for the cheapest possible thing because I want this like mediocre website built. But now as when was the last time you visited a website that was crappy, or downloaded a mobile app that was crappy? Just it's not going to last. Your business isn't going to last. So the quality of work being done online is much greater. The quality of people working online is much greater than it used to be. The, Gone are the days of bidding yourself down to $0 to work a lot. Now people are having a career online and they're earning um, great incomes. So because we believe online work is the future of work, we felt Upwork was a better way to describe what working online is and what it's going to be in the future than the previous brands that we had. So the question was, how is Upwork right now with regards to the competition? Upwork is the world leader in online work. Um, just last year, um, nearly $1 billion was paid to freelancers on our platform. And this is just a slice of last year. 100 million of that was to Filipinos. Um, the next closest competitor is 1/10 our size. So the type of work being done, the quality of the work being done, quality of the talent is unparalleled anywhere else. Um, Elance and Odesk merged a little over a year ago and called themselves Elance Odesk. Had two separate sites, but the company is called Elance Odesk. And we spent the last more than a year building Upwork from the ground up. Largely based on some of the Odesk technology, but with all new layers of technology over top to speed up matching, to make it more precise, mobile apps, real-time availability, all sorts of different things. And so when we launched Upwork on the 5th of May, so a little over a month ago, Upwork replaced Odesk. No, Elance is an Upwork company now, and will be for maybe a year or two. But long term, all of our innovation is going to happen on Upwork, which is why we now allow. First, we built a bridge for freelancers who are on Elance to be able to port over their reputation and their profile to Upwork. So if you're a top-notch freelancer on Elance, with a few clicks, you can be a top-notch freelancer on Upwork. I know there are more questions. I can just see it. You look like you have a question. Anybody? Well, we can, yeah. So the question is how much work on our platform um, is for part-time work, less than 10 hours per week. It's impossible to say. We have hundreds of thousands of jobs posted every month across different categories. So some types of work are just more fixed price than hourly. So if you're going to do a logo project, you might say, "Great, I'll do your logo for $1,000," and it might only take you a couple hours. But there's no limit to the amount of time that a freelancer can work on our platform. So this kind of Ron mentioned earlier, think of it as your own business. So if you only have 10 hours to spare on your profile, just say I'm only willing to work 10 hours a week. That lets clients know your availability, and then you know you can seek jobs that don't require more than that. One of the best things about freelancing is you can pick jobs you want to work on. So if jobs are at night and you don't want to work at night, you don't have to take the job. Or if it's 20 hours a week and you only can do 10, you can tell the client I'm willing to do 10. It's completely up to you. Unverified status for a freelancer? Ah, got it. So when a client, to be verified, a client has to um, verify their phone number and verify their bank account, exchange some money. So to exchange money, it more or less has to prove that you are who you say you are. So that's what verified means. Clients that have verified are clients who have spent money on our platform. When they've spent money, they've gone through the verification steps required to pay someone. It is. I think you want to make sure that you choose your right clients. We do everything we possibly can to um, bring as much opportunity on the platform as possible while also keeping it safe. Because, as I mentioned before, you can't be a workplace for the world if every day when you show up you have to look over your shoulder and you're scared to be there. So we can't have that. Um, and that's also why we have verified status and reputations and things like that. But brand new people who are coming in, um, it's the same challenge with freelancers. You have no reputation yet. Same thing with clients. You have no reputation yet. So just make sure you choose the right client. If it's a brand new unverified client and you're interviewing and they seem really serious about you, maybe require a face-to-face Skype just so you can see that they're a real person and that you like them, you want to work with them. Because again, it's not just about the money on the job. Long-term relationships are just those. They're relationships. It's not that you pump out a lot of work for them and they keep hiring you. There's something about your chemistry as workers that just works. So make sure you seek that chemistry before you take a job, especially with a new client. Yes, yes. So that's another kind of thing. The question was, we Odesk historically did not have a minimum wage, and when we merged, um, we're a really ethically minded company, and we wanted to kind of at least set the floor. And we made that decision even though it was going to hurt our business. There are a lot of clients that weren't hiring at that wage, and we were going to double their expense on our platform, so we knew we'd probably lose them. But we made the decision anyway. And again, it's all around the vision of workplace for the world. We want to be a great place to work. Um, so for everybody. So we instituted minimum wage last year, and the question is, do we still do that? And the answer is yes. So the question is, I guess visually on our product, we first of all we charge a 10% service fee for connecting you with work, and for transacting money really quickly. Most cases we can transact it. I mean, you get one of the benefits of working at Upwork is money's dispensed weekly. So it's like getting a paycheck better, right? Which is hard to get when you're a freelancer on your own. Collecting money as a freelancer without Upwork is hard. I don't know if any of you have tried it, but it's hard. Um, and how we treated it visually was you would say how much you wanted to make, and then we would calculate the 10% fee and then add it on to the amount that the client sees. Um, one of the things that we constantly want to improve is um, some clients perceive that they're being charged a 10% fee when they're not. It's a service fee to freelancers for the benefits we provide to freelancers. And we specifically don't charge the client because we want to make sure there's a free flow of opportunity on the platform as much as possible. But if a client thinks that they're paying it, then it impacts their decision as to whether they're going to hire someone, post a job, and so on. So we're trying to find ways to educate clients that they're not paying the fee. And sometimes that might be on a visual appearance, instead of adding it on top in the UI showing you that, increase your hourly rate to include your fee, whatever that number is. So if you wanted it to be an even $3, then you would calculate the difference. But I don't know that it's, I haven't seen that treatment on the UI on my side, so I don't know if that's if you're in a different kind of unreleased version of the product or not. But um, the main reason, if any, if that would ever change visually, is that we're trying to make sure that we get the most, help sell you the best, basically. So the question is, why does the time tracker, which tracks all your hours and guarantees your payment, sometimes not record all of your hours? Um, the time tracker is a really actually pre-Upwork, as you mentioned Odesk time tracker. Pre-Upwork, the time tracker software, first of all, it's core to our business, so it's really important that it functions well. And if it has a blip in it, everything stops on our side. It's that important. Because not just is it impacting freelancers, but clients. It impacts clients too. When we launched Upwork, we launched an all-new tracker app, rebuilt from the ground up, all new technology. So I definitely recommend that you download that. When we launched, we had a little bit of trouble because we launched a lot of things all at once, and not all of them worked perfectly, even though we tested them till we were blue in the face. But the time tracker app, I kind of see sometimes freelancers might be frustrated from time to time, like what you're mentioning now. And I guess the impression is if you're not seeing everyone respond in front of you, that you're wondering if they're even working on it. Trust me, it's a very, very core piece to our business. It's a very, very important part of our business. A lot of people make their first hire on Odesk because of it, or on Upwork. So we try to make sure that it's always running. Is anyone not familiar with what the time tracker app on Upwork is? So we try to make sure, again, to kind of be the workplace of the world, we provide certain securities for freelancers and for clients. So for hourly work, if you use our time tracker app, your payment's guaranteed, no matter what the client does. So Whether the client said, "Oh no, I don't think they worked that time," doesn't matter. We cover it, and that gives clients peace of mind that there's some protection to their money because their perception is they're only paying for work that's being performed, and we can prove it. And protection for you as a freelancer, something that you don't get when you're working on your own without a platform like Upwork. You might have worked 10 hours, told a client you worked 10 hours, and they don't think you worked 10 hours, and then you have a dispute. You don't have to worry about that on Upwork. And then for fixed price work, so if you're a designer and you're doing lump sum projects, we offer escrow. So clients can pay in a certain amount. You can know they're good for that money. And then we administer it. So the client can't take it away. So this is a great question. So when we launch a lot of this new technology, if you have a long-term contract, you don't update that contract so all the new technology applies, then it doesn't apply. But this is why it's so important to think about freelancing as your own business, right? So if you're running your own business and you have some security software on your computer and it's really important that you have it so it protects all your money, and the update button comes up and says you need to update this or someone's going to take your money, you're probably going to take the time to do that update. I would suggest the same thing as a freelancer. So if new product comes out and you want to make sure that you get to take advantage of the guaranteed payment feature for it, tell your client, I need you to do a new contract with me. Let's start a fresh contract. I want to use escrow. Yeah, I think that the way the escrow is set up, you set it up with your contract when you start up the contract. So you can say like, I would need to be paid based on milestones, for example. Yeah, it's not uncommon, and I hear this from freelancers from time to time. Um, it's not uncommon for a freelancer to fire their client. So really treat it like your business, right? If if you're having trouble receiving payment at a certain time, you know they're good for it. Insist that you update the contract on your new terms. I think that's a really common, and maybe even it impacts the Philippines a little bit more than some areas, is uh, some timidness to direct the client toward what it is that you want, in fear that they might not want to keep working. You're doing really important stuff for this client. It's really hard to replace you. You know, you have that relationship. Um, so in most cases, clients will probably be really happy for you to really clearly communicate and say what your needs are rather than to like harbor them and not communicate and not share them. And meanwhile, you're not happy about it. So I think it's, again, really important to think of it as a business, really important to communicate really, really clearly. So both sides of the relationship know where one another stands. Any other questions? I'm not sure I know what you mean. So what about certifications? A section on a profile for certifications. Those are still there. You can add certifications. I definitely recommend that you do. Um, you know, if you're in, for example, like an Oracle certified such and such, definitely put the certification on your profile. Those are high-paying jobs where people really they want to hire an expert. Um, they're not going to be inclined to hire someone that says, "Yeah, I'm certified, but I can't show you this certificate." Um, and if you have the certificate, you definitely stand out. So on your Upwork profile, there's a bunch of stuff you can do to help differentiate yourself, to help you stand out. First and foremost, take a really good professional picture, because if you think about it, clients are coming in concerned about risk. They have work they need to get done, money that they want to spend, and their biggest fear is someone's just going to take that money from them and not deliver on the promise, or not deliver the work product that they're looking to hire. Um, so first impressions matter, especially when you don't have a chance to meet the person for that first impression. So take a really great photo. There's an overview section at the very top of a profile. I think almost every resume counselor has ever told us, hey, like, give a really succinct description at the top. Could be, in many cases, the most important part of your entire profile. Because if you're busy, you're just scanning, you need something that's going to reinforce exactly what you're looking for right when you go there. So those are really important. Anywhere else that you can add as much information about you as possible, and I'm not talking about writing a novel, but I am talking about going into detail of what you specifically did. It's going to help you. So if you have work experience somewhere, don't just put the title, hey, I did this and it was this long. You know, really make sure that you have the company name in there. Really make sure you describe your key accomplishments in that role, because the client's trying to size you up. I've got $10,000 to spend. Is this person capable of doing a $10,000 project? Or I'm looking to hire someone for long term. Is this person someone I can trust? Um, you need to help them assess that fit. Um, you can add certifications to your profile, and many of them we can verify. It takes a week sometimes to verify, but when we do verify, you get the official logo on your profile. It's really clear that you have this certification. There's no way to spoof it. So that's a really big um, piece of value that clients really enjoy. You can add a video. So if you are a designer or a developer or a customer service agent, you just want to showcase that you really do have good English skills. A video is a really powerful way to get to meet that client without actually meeting them, having them meet you, having them, if you think about it, they have a chance to become emotionally vested in hiring you long before you even talk. If they can decipher from your profile that you're the right fit. And when you have that as a scenario, that client's much more likely to pay you what you want or more, because they already perceive that you're in demand. They already perceive that someone else might hire you first. Um, so those are really important things. There's a portfolio that you can add. It's in the portfolio. You can kind of describe the work you've done. You can tell a story. So if you're a designer, for example, the logo is like the finished logo really doesn't communicate the amount of work that went into creating that logo. But when you tell the story of the sketch and then of the wireframe and then of the different versions that you provided your client, of the top 3 that they picked, of the final one that was picked based on their customers saying, this is the one that I want, that tells a client a lot more about what it's going to be like to work with you. It's going to let them know that this isn't going to be something that's just slapped together and I have to worry about the result. They're going to know this person's a pro. Um, there's so many things that you can do. The other great features once you've earned work on Upwork is you can link the work to your profile. So you can not only have the feedback from the client, um, but you can show the work and you can tell the story of that work, like I just mentioned, but through the project. So another client can go, well, I'm looking to hire a designer to create the UI for my app. It's going to be very expensive. I don't know what I want to do. Then they come across a profile with a bunch of apps designed, UIs all the way through. Some of those are linked to work with feedback from a client. They're going to hire that person. So you really want to think about selling yourself. You really want to put yourself in the client's shoes. I'm trying to hedge risk. I'm here to hire because I think I can find what I'm looking for, but I just don't want to screw up. Put that hat on when you're creating your profile. Do you want to have a profile if you're a designer that says you're a designer and you're a writer and you're a vocalist and you're all these other things, when that client really just wants an awesome designer, make it about you being an awesome designer. Um, those are just a few tips, but there's a bunch of features, long story short, on a profile that you can use to really help you stand out, to make sure that you earn the most possible money and earn as much work as you can handle. All right, I think that's it. There's plenty of food, and if you guys have questions after, yeah, I hope so. Um, yeah, I don't know if anytime in the near future we'll be doing affiliate links, but I sure would love to put together a referral program. That's definitely something that is important to a bunch of us in the company. Um, what's interesting is when you have 10 million freelancers and 4 million clients on your platform, there's quite a few people that have ideas they want you to work on. And as a company, we're 300 full-time, 500 freelancers, or 500 freelancers, 700. So we have to prioritize. And one of our marketing levers that we want to be able to have at some point is a referral program. We don't have it now, and it's mainly because we're working on some other really cool stuff to try to make you as much money as possible, such that a referral program would be like, you know, um, pennies you find under a mattress compared to the earnings that you make with some of the stuff we're working on. So it's definitely a priority for some of us, and I do think you'll probably see it, but I can't tell you when. Cool. Thanks, guys.